Hey everybody, I am just standing in my own front yard here in Fort Worth, Texas, and I wanted to just show everybody kind of a large view of our front yard. The backyard's really not that much different, you know, just full of different plants all over the place. And there's a couple things that I wanted to just say briefly about the plant choices that we've made in our yard and just kind of the setup, and then a few words of encouragement to you. And so I really hope you're listening to my message here, because it's a very important one to me. And in my very honest opinion, it's an important message for the world that we live in. And here's my few quick points. The first one is that almost all the plants are native perennial plants. And so you might think, you know, like, it's so easy to go to a garden center and to like buy just the prettiest, most colorful, most flashy plants and the stuff that we've seen, you know, on TV shows that all the cookie cutter houses have in their flower pots and all that, you know. But a lot of these plants are not popular with the native wildlife. They don't produce a lot of nectar. You know, let me tell you, the first three plants we planted here, over there, I don't know if you can see it very well, but along the wall, there's three extremely beautiful knockout rose bushes. I just got into gardening like a lot of people during COVID because I didn't have anything else to do. I was playing video games, running long distance around my city, and planting plants, and running down the street and hanging out with my daughter a little bit. That was basically it. And so I learned, you know, it's 2026 now when I'm making this video. So over the last, 6 years, I've learned through just experimentation. And those three rose bushes, they don't really produce any nectar. You know, they're not really doing much for the environment, and that's okay. But the large, massive majority of the plants are native perennials. And so those are the ones that have evolved with the environment that you live in. And so the migrating animals, hummingbirds, butterflies, bees, and other creatures are going to be like connected better to your native perennial plants. So you want to ask for those. Don't just be like, wow, bright, beautiful flowers, that's the ones that I need for my yard. Or wow, I've seen those in home and garden magazines, right? On the covers. That's not necessarily what you want to go for. So look for your native perennials. And my second message, which is just as important for me, is that you can see that our yard is not the yard that you see all the time. It's not your typical common yard where we just have grass that we mow all the time and some border bushes and border plants up by the house. You can see that we filled our space up, or at least to a large degree, with a lot of really great native perennial plants. And so one of my friends down the street, who also likes to do gardening, they pretty much keep it to their backyard. And I remember one time a few years ago, she was like, I wish I had the courage to do what you do in your front yard. And so I loved her vulnerability to say that. And so my comment to you is, just do it. Just do it. If you have some really annoying, overbearing, HOA that's gonna come after you, then I understand you're gonna have to deal with those guys. But other than that, just like anything in life, who are you really trying to impress? Who are you really working for? Are you worried about what your neighbors a couple houses down are gonna think of your adventures in gardening and your courage and your creativity to try and make it the best it can be with the vision that works best for you? Or are you just gonna do it for you, right? Because it feels right for what you want to accomplish, right? So again, so many things. I'm not gonna tell you all the different species of stuff. I've got a lot of milkweed for the monarchs. I've got a lot of dill and a lot of fennel plants for the swallowtails. A lot of rue right there, that herb. They have the pretty yellow blossoms, and they help a bunch of different butterflies, and they support the other plants too, actually. And just so much more. So many mist flower plants and coneflower. There's lots. Like I said, I could go on. See, look, I almost started going down that list. So anyway, my final message to everybody is this. I almost forgot it. I almost left off the main point of my little video here. Is that when I drive down the highways here in North Texas, and when I'm looking around places that I grew up that used to be open fields of wildflowers and host plants and just Mother Nature, you know what I see now almost constantly? Instead of seeing the nature that was once there, I'm seeing gigantic brand new apartment complexes and huge office buildings and just condos in all this development. And that's, human nature is, our expansion and our, development into new places and just growth, right? That's the especially in the Western world, that's our capitalist style. And so those fields are going to keep disappearing. So what I'm asking for you guys is, with your native perennials and with your courage to use your space, in the way that is the most creative and full and just fulfilling for you, remember that in exchange for the loss of those open spaces and that prairie land and just that free nature, spaces that used to be out there that are constantly shrinking, the way that we can help to supplement that is to create that space within our own yards. And so instead of just despairing over the loss of that open land and that important natural habitat, we can actually create that natural habitat in our own yards to make up for those losses. So just, really, really think about that message and do your research on the plants that are best for your area. And then again, just, have the heart and have the will and the confidence to make your yard look amazing in the way that you'd like it to, while also doing a great job for the environment. So thanks for listening, everybody. And yeah, just do your best, have a good time, and I'll catch you next time.